From Griselda Blanco, the Black Widow, who ended all 3 husbands, to Ma Barker, who had the longest shootout with the FBI. These female bosses show they can be as ruthless as their male counterparts. Here are the female mafia bosses with the most murders in history. We start with Griselda Blanco, aka the cocaine godmother. Griselda Blanco was a ruthless Colombian drug pin who ran a huge drug empire in the 1970s and 80s cocaine trade. Her fierce edge made her a main part of drug wars, especially the Miami drug war that involved the infamous Medellin cartel run by Pablo Escobar. Her body count began when she was as young as 11, when she helped kidnap a young boy. And when his wealthy family refused to pay the ransom, she shot him in cold blood. As a teenager, she married Carlos Trujillo, a small-time criminal, and they started a marijuana trading business together. But their relationship fell apart, and they were eventually divorced. Divorce wasn't the end for Griselda, though. So she killed him. In the early 1970s, she got involved with Alberto Bravo, a drug trafficker whom she later married. Through him, she stepped into the world of cocaine trafficking. Using New York City as their base, the couple built a massive, profitable drug empire. Griselda was known for her ingenuity. She even had lingerie made with secret compartments to smuggle drugs. However, when drug charges began closing in on her, she returned to Colombia in 1975. That same year, she suspected Bravo of stealing from their joint business. And this led to a dramatic shootout between them and ended with Bravo's death. Earning her the nickname Black Widow, she reportedly went on to have her 3rd husband killed as well. With lovers not exempted from her vicious nature, former associates weren't either, and Griselda took great measures to eliminate anyone that posed a threat to her business. By the late 1970s, Griselda had relocated to Miami, quickly establishing herself as the infamous godmother of cocaine. Determined to eliminate her rivals, she unleashed a wave of violent ambition that threw the city into chaos, a period now known as the Cocaine Cowboy Wars. Her approach was merciless. She ordered countless murders, with many carried out by hitmen on motorcycles, a method she's often credited with inventing. Her disregard for caution shocked the city, as many of these assassinations took place in broad daylight. One of the most notorious incidents occurred in 1979 during a dramatic shootout at a local mall. Through this unrestrained brutality, Griselda cemented her place in the criminal underworld. After orchestrating about 200 deaths, her reign came to an end when she was arrested in 1985 and charged with multiple counts of 1st and 2nd-degree murders. One of the charges included the murder of a 2-year-old boy who was hit during an attempt on his father's life. Griselda was betrayed by her hitmen in court, and this earned her 15 years behind bars. However, this didn't stop Griselda from running her drug empire, though, and when she was eventually released, the enemy she had made came for retribution. After running for her life for most of her release, she was gunned down in 2012 in front of a butcher shop in Medellin. Next on the list is Maria Licciardi, aka the Queen of Camorra. Unlike Griselda, Maria Licciardi was born into a life of crime. Her family was deeply rooted in the Camorra, and her father was respected as a guapo or local boss. Maria's husband, Antonio Tejami, was also deeply involved in the Camorra, keeping the family tightly woven into its criminal web. One of her brothers, Gennaro Licciardi, known as the Monkey, became a particularly influential figure in the clan, eventually leading it and co-founding the Secondigliano Alliance. This coalition brought together several powerful Camorra clans to control drug trafficking and extortion in various Naples suburbs. Gennaro's rise, however, ended abruptly when he died of blood poisoning on August 3, 1994, while imprisoned in Vergara. This and the arrest of her 2 other brothers and husband led to Maria's rise to power. She became the first female Camorrista to lead the Licciardi clan and ultimately took control of the powerful Secondigliano Alliance after her brother Gennaro's death, which sparked violent attempts to claim the clan's leadership. Although known as the Little One because of her small stature, there was nothing little about the way Maria ran the clan. Maria forged a delicate alliance around 20 Camorra clans, uniting them to control Naples' most profitable illegal enterprises, from drug and cigarette smuggling to protection rackets and prostitution. Under her leadership, the drug market in the city expanded, and the Secondigliano alliance grew more organized, secretive, and powerful. The Camorra queen introduced significant changes, particularly by involving the clan in the prostitution trade, which had previously been off-limits under the Camorra's code of conduct. Breaking this tradition, she struck deals with the Albanian Mafia to buy young women for about $2,000 each. Many of these women, lured with promises of legitimate work to escape poverty in their home countries, were instead forced into prostitution under brutal conditions. Many were underage and often given drugs, which kept them dependent on the Camorra. This shift not only added to the alliance's income, but also increased criminal activity, as the women were forced to buy narcotics regularly, fueling the organization's drug trade. Sticking to tradition, she defended her clan with brutal fierceness like her male counterparts. She ordered the death of anyone who threatened the existence of the Licciardi clan without mercy when the need arose. In the late 1990s, Maria persuaded Camorra bosses from 20 feuding gangs that constant fighting hurt profits and that unity would yield more money and reduce bloodshed. Her approach worked, and for several months, Naples saw no mob-related killings. However, peace was shattered when a dispute arose over a major heroin shipment from Istanbul. The heroin arrived unrefined, dangerously potent, and deadly for users. Maria refused to distribute the batch, ordering it returned, but the rival Lorusso gang defied her, seizing the shipment and sold it in small bags. Tragically, the heroin's potency led to nearly a dozen overdose deaths on the street of Naples. The resulting media coverage and public outrage prompted police crackdowns on local criminals. The fragile alliance Maria had built quickly unraveled as rival clans began to retaliate, and a violent gang war erupted. Over 8 days, several members of Licciardi's clan were murdered, including her nephew. In response, Maria fought back with force. Within days, she ordered the killing of 14 people, and her revenge led to the death of some 30 people in total. She was arrested multiple times in the 21st century, with the most recent being in 2021 when she was flying to visit her daughter. Maria was later sentenced to 13 years in prison. Next, we move to Ma Barker. Kate Ma Barker was notorious as the leader of the Barker Gang, which was a family gang composed mainly of her sons. She operated mainly with her husband George and her 4 sons, Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred. Throughout the 1930s, she and her gang carried out a series of violent crimes, including robberies, murders, and kidnappings across the American Midwest. This earned Ma Barker a spot as the FBI's public enemy #1. Due to the monstrosity of her acts, she was described by the FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover as the most vicious, dangerous, and resourceful criminal brain of the last decade. One of her sons, Herman, met his end after shooting an officer in the mouth. Terrified that he would be prosecuted, he shot himself in the mouth. This made her husband George withdraw from the gang's activities. From 1928 to 1930, her sons were incarcerated and Ma Barker was alone without her team. However, when Fred was released, Ma Barker joined hands with Alvin Karpis to form the Barker-Karpis Gang. Following a string of robberies, Fred Barker and Alvin Karpis escalated their criminal activities by killing Sheriff C. Roy Kelly in West Palms, Missouri on December 19, 1931. This murder forced them to flee the area, now on the run with even greater urgency. Arthur was released and he joined his brother in his life of crime. This didn't last long though, as Arthur was arrested later on, January 16, 1935. And on that same day, the longest shootout in FBI history began. Right in front of the Barker's house, the shootout started, and it only ended after Ma Barker and Fred were riddled with bullets. What other female mafia deserves a spot on this list? Let us know in the comments, and for more dark stories of the underworld, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to never miss an update.